Good afternoon, sir.
गुड आफ्टरनून आपण स्टार्ट करून दो.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Uh, good afternoon, everybody. Once again, I am Raghunath Mandal, Assistant Professor, Department of Social Work, the Academic Counselor for Department of Social Work since last 14 years. Today, I am really happy to have in your midst to take your class. Am I audible? Am I audible to everybody?
Namaskar, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Is it
Namaskar, sir.
audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good. So if anything problem, please let me inform so that I can try to solve the problem. So
Yes, sir.
I'm really sorry that I was trying to get into this class, but due to certain technical problem, I could not enter into this class by 4 p.m. Anyway, so today we will be talking, we'll be discussing on social work practicum and supervision. MSW-005. I repeat, MSW-005, Social Work Practicum and Supervision. Right. So, Social Work Practicum and Supervision, this we will today discuss the block 1. So, simultaneously again, tomorrow we'll be discussing block 2, block 3, block 4, up to end of the block 4 we'll be discussing. So today we will be concentrating on block 1, right? So the main topic of this today's discussion is social work practicum and supervision. This is the overall topic basing on which we will be discussing on these 4 days, 4 blocks. And today's topic which we are going to discuss, that is social work practice and overview. Social work practice and overview. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Social work practicum and overview. And it is divided into 4 units. It is divided into 4 units. Number 1 unit is consist of social work practicum, concept, meaning, nature, importance, and scope. Social work practicum, concept, meaning, nature, and scope, importance and scope. Unit 2, history of social work practicum, development of field education. Unit 3, social work practicum, global and national scenario. Unit 4, social work practicum in open and distance learning. These are the 4 units that which we are going to discuss today in brief, because the time is very short. Within 2 hours we have to cover all these units in nutshell. So I request to all the learners, those who are present today, please concentrate to this subject, and whatever doubts if you have, then you can ask to me. There is no any problem. But let me finish first, I think, then we'll be discussing. Otherwise, if you have any question, then also in the meanwhile of discussion also, sometimes you can also ask me if you are not getting into me properly. Okay. So, my dear students, before getting to this particular subject, I must tell one thing, that social work is divided into 2 types. 2 important things. One is theory, another one is practical. One is theory, another one is practical. The practical, which we are now going to discuss today, which is social work practicum and supervision. So, in the social work, there is a flesh and blood relationship between the social work and uh, social practicum. Therefore, I can say without the practical, there is no meaning, or there is no value of the social work theory. So whatever theory we are reading in the classroom, that we will be materializing in the field work, right? So in details, the IGNO has developed a very good study material, which is number one, which I can say in India and also abroad. So this field practicum, or whatever literature developed by the IGNO, it is very, very unique, and it is very learning materials. So whatever I will discuss with you, later part also you try to read carefully, so that you can learn many more things. Unless you are not entering into the book, you cannot able to understand the details of the fieldwork practical, or whatever subjects is there in your fieldwork. I think in social work there are so many other subjects, but out of other subjects, this subject is one of the core subject. That means it is very, very important subject. If you are not doing the field practicum, then you cannot able to get the pass mark. You will not complete the course. So therefore, this is very important part, and many of the students, since I know personally that many of the students, they confuse to how to do the field practicum, how to write that, and how they will submit it. So many things are there here, that is very difficult part for the students. So those who are participating today, those who are attended today's class, they'll be knowing in details. If you sincerely, if you are attending the classes, then you will know in detail regarding the social work practicum and supervision. So today, again, I tell you, this block is the mostly we will discuss on social work practicum and overview. What is exactly, the social work practicum? In brief, we will try to discuss today. So unit 1, as I was saying to you, social work practicum, concept, meaning, nature, and importance and scope. Okay, so in this block, as I was saying to you, we have presented the basic information on social work practicum, that is its concept, importance, models, national as well as international scenario, and its applicability in the open and distance learning system. So let's now we will discuss the unit 1, that is social work practicum, concept, meaning, nature, and importance and scope. As I was saying to you, uh, social work is a helping profession. Social work is a process through which we are helping to all the people, those who are needy, those who are helpless, those who are in the problematic situation. To them, we are basically helping for overcome their stress and strain. So it is important for social workers to have a strong theoretical base. That means whenever we are going to do some kind of field practical, by that time, before field practical, we have to have strong knowledge on theory, which we are teaching in the classroom. Like I can say, there are 6 methods of social work, which you might be knowing. That is case work, group work, community organization, social action, social welfare administration, and social work research. These 6 methods basically the pillar of the social work, which we are learning through the theory books. And after knowing all these things, we are going to the field practicum, to do the field practicum, and that will be effective one when somebody will go thorough, somebody knows the details of the theory, and after knowing the theory, if he is doing the field practical, then it will be effective one. There is a necessity to provide opportunities for students to apply the knowledge acquired in the classroom. It is only by doing that the students can comprehend the nuisance of working with clients. It, it may have seemed abstract while learning about skills and values in the classroom, and this can be classified when put into practice. In the beginning, there may be anxiety and inhibition to the work with the people. So, my dear students, today, as I was saying to you, that the theory provides you the basic knowledge, the minimum knowledge, that how you will work in the community, how you will work in the agency. So, learning process as the students, whenever you will do the field work, by that time you can able to know applying the values, skills, and knowledge of social work. There are different kinds of values, there are different kinds of skills, there are different kinds of knowledge of social work which you will be applying in the field setting. Social work practicum helps students deals with administrative, legal, and communication issues. Social work practicum helps students. This practicum means this fieldwork activities, these concurrent fieldwork activities will help you to work with, to deal with the administrative activities. You know, in a organization, when we are placed in a organization, there are two type of activities are going on in an organization. One is administrative and another one is non-administrative activities. So administrative activities you can learn that planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, these are the some of the administrative activities. Whatever you have learned in the social welfare administration, that you will apply in the field of your field practicum. On behalf of the organization, you are doing some kind of activities, and that activities related to administrative activities. Your supervisor may be giving some kind of administrative activities, and by that, through that, you can learn some administrative activities, administrative things. And then legal and communication issues. There are some legal and communication issues. That means how to register some of the organizations, some of the cooperative societies, and some, if there is any legal issues arise in the organization, that also how they are handling, that also you will learn, and how they are communicating to different lawyer office and upper offices, and in also among the community people and agency. Everything you will also learn through this field practicum. Practicum gives an opportunity to work with supervision, intake, and case recording and reporting. It is an integral part of the social work curriculum at the undergraduate and postgraduate level. As I was saying to you, this is very, very integral part. Means it is very significant part. It is a nucleus part of social work, if I can say. The relationship as well as the field practicum is one of the nucleus part, or the very important part, or significant part, or integral part of social work curriculum. If a student is not involved in the field practicum, he cannot know the real study, the real social work. If he is not involving himself or herself, then he cannot able to understand the reality of social work. Say it is undergraduate level, say it is postgraduate level, and they will be knowing how they are supervised by the supervisors. They also know how they are entering into the agency, and how they are working in the agency, as well as they also know the case study, how they, whatever, see in the field practicum, you must be knowing there are some case studies, group work, community organization works are there. So, on behalf of the field practicum, through the field practicum, you can learn that the case study, case recording, and reporting. And after practical learning, you are going to write your field practicum. Those field practicum divided into different parts. You must be knowing, one is induction meeting, another one is 4 orientation visit, then you are going for the 45 days concurrent field work, and in meanwhile of the concurrent field orientation visit and concurrent field work, you are meeting with your field work supervisor, that is individual conference. And in group, when you are meeting with your field supervisor, by that time we are saying it is a group conference. And then you are at the end, again you are writing the summary, or your whatever you are experienced that you are writing, and then you are coming to writing the summary. So these many things you will gain or you will learn in the field practicum. So unless you are not doing this one, you cannot able to do these many things. So these are some of the important things that they are in your field practicum. So again, I tell you, there are some definition of social work practicum. So various professionals use different words to describe the practical use of classroom learning. Different terms used are practicum, internship, field work, or field experience. See, there are different nomenclature, means different names are used in field practicum. One is field practicum, maybe you can say the concurrent field practicum. Another one is internship and field work or field works experience. And some other professionals have a year-long internship for the doctorate degree. Some placements in the field of shorter document or which are less intense may be classified field work or practicum. This is not true in all cases. In graduate or undergraduate social work, the terms used for practical learning is field work, field placement, or practicum. What I mean to say, you need not to be confused that concurrent field work. Somebody says it is concurrent field work. Somebody says it is field practicum. Somebody says it is field work activities. Okay, and beside this fieldwork activity, another some activities are there which we are saying internship, and sometimes we say also block placement, right? So internship, that means consecutively when you are placed in a organization for 30 days or 25 days, which we are called it is the internship. And in concurrent field work, basically we do it for 45 days, but during 45 days you can have some gap also. That means in 2 months you may be doing 45 days field work. In 2.5 months also you can do some 45 days field work. That means some gap may be there. But in intensive, consecutively, that means at a stress, you are doing the field work, which enables you to know the uh, details of the agency, to know the details of the community, to know the details of the environment where you are working. Okay, so these many things are very, very important things that we have to understand. And then while your social workers professionally apply skills, values, techniques, and principles. Okay, so when you are going to field work, by the time you have to apply some skills, some values, and some techniques. Skills, maybe communication is a skills. Interpretation is a skills, interpreting. There are a different type of skills which a social worker need to have so that he can able to materialize the field practicum or field work in a better manner. And there are some values of social work. Okay, values of social work. You have to give the value to the agency people. You have to give value to the community people. You have to give dignity to the community people. Whoever may be your client, whoever may be your dependent, whoever may be your, I mean, the stakeholder, you have to give worth, you have to give dignity, you have to give value to those particular people. Since we are social workers, we are not officers, we are not bureaucrats, we are not businessmen, rather we are social workers. So we have to humbly handle all these things. So we have to give the values. Social work has a value. So that basing on that values, you have to work among the community people on behalf of the organization. And some of the techniques you have to use. As I was saying to you, there are 6 methods of social work, which, for example, case work. Case work is a method. Group work is a method. Community organization is a method. These are the direct method of social work or primary method of social work. Beside this, another 3 methods which we are saying indirect method or secondary method. So each method, some of the techniques. Each method, some of the techniques. For example, if I can say case work. Case work is a technique. Case work is a method where there are some techniques. What are those techniques? Interviewing, counseling, interaction. These are some of the techniques. These techniques need to be applied. These techniques need to be used. These techniques need to be, apply in the field of your social work practicum. When you are doing social work practicum, you must know some of the, the techniques. I must I must tell to all of you that you must have seen in your field practicum journal there is a performa is given in that journal. So teamwork, and then another performa is given, that is how, what are the techniques that you have used in your field practicum during your field practicum. I I am not saying that every techniques will be used, but some techniques maybe you may be using, which is very important. And if you are not knowing, then you cannot able to use that techniques, like group work, group game, group discussion, and storytelling, debate competition. These are some of the techniques of, the group work, one of the method of social work. So these methods, these techniques you have to apply. Another thing is some of the principles also you have to apply. Hmm. I think you must be knowing the principle. Those principles. Maybe suppose in casework, some of the principles. There are 7 principles in casework. IPAN CQ. In short, we are saying IPAN CQ. That means individualize IPAN CQ. Individualization, acceptance, confidentiality, professionalism. Like this, there are some principles. Like in group work also there are some principles. Community organization also there are some principles. Social action also there are some principles. Social welfare administration also principles. Social welfare research also there are some principles. So when you are doing field work or field practicum, by that time you should not forget these many things. What are those many things? You have to apply some skills, you have to apply some values, you have to apply some techniques, you have to apply some uh, principles. So unless you are not knowing certain principle, you cannot able to, the you cannot able to apply. So therefore, prior to field visit, you should read the books, you discuss with your fieldwork supervisor, and then you go. Then only it will be effective work. Okay. Are you hearing to me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. It is understandable or not?
Understandable, sir.
Okay, very good. Then now we will be coming to models of social work practicum. So I will try to finish all these points in brief, so that you can able to understand important things. There are 2 important models. Okay, they are in your social work practicum. Hmm. Models of social work practicum. There are two models, main models, medical model, another one is the ecological model. Understand? First one is the medical model. Medical model was used to assess and treat problems, emotional and behavioral problems were supposed to be affected by genetics, disease, yearly trauma, metabolic disorders, and conflicts within the individual or a
Yes.
defenses used to combat them. These problems were regarded as mental illness and given medical labels. The medical model was human and treated those with such problems as persons in need of help and amenable to treatment. Dear students, this is one of the model which is very significant at this contemporary society in this contemporary society. So medical model, you must be knowing, our social work students are placed as a medical counselor. Our social work students are working as a psychiatric social workers. What they are placed in medical and they are engaged to solve the problem of social aspect, solve the problem of cultural aspect, solve the problem of political aspect. A patient, when get into affected by physically, it is okay that physically we cannot give the treatment, but physical illness, it related to the mental. When the mental problem comes, when the social problem comes, a doctor cannot treat properly. By that time, the social worker can treat properly. He can understand the environment of the patient. Like I will cite an example because I was going through this type of problem uh, for last 1 year. One of my brother-in-laws, very recently, he passed away by the cancer. He was affected by cancer. You know, there is a palliative care therapy is going on by the government as well as the non-government organizations, and where the social workers are placed and they are giving the palliative care. That means the patient will definitely die. One day he will definitely die because this is a uncurable disease. There are some uncurable disease. The doctors already declared that this patient may be dying at any point of time. So up to death, the the social workers will give some consolation. The social worker will counsel them that up to his death, how he will live happily. So up to his death. Likewise, there are some chronic diseases. We can say the HIV/AIDS, maybe leprosy. Some other diseases are there, which disease also very dangerous disease. That for that disease, uh, the medical social workers are engaged, and for these social workers, help is very important. So here, medical model is there where the social worker can, uh, defense or combat the some of the difficulty situation of the patient. Hmm. So, which is very important for them and for the social worker works. Another one is the ecological model. This model is also very much important. Ecological model. This model focuses on the what? The interaction between the individual and the environment that may not be conducive, healthy, balance. What I mean to say that key in ecological model, it gives importance to whom? It focuses on interaction between the individual and the environment. Environment means the surrounding where we are living. Environment means the society where we are living. Okay. So sometimes what happens, the problem arises from the environment itself. Therefore, we have to we have to modify, or we have to rectify, or we have to give the treatment of the environment. If the environment is conducive, then automatically the problem will be solved. So therefore, the environment has to be carefully washed, and then only the things will be, uh, the problem will be solved. So ecological is the study of the relationship between living organisms, including human, and their physical environment. It seeks to understand the vital connections between plants and animals and the world. Okay, so that means what it implies, that in environment, in which environment we are living, that environment need to be conducive one, means positive one. If we are living in a negative environment, negative situation, then we cannot able to survive. Therefore, the it is a very important part of this social work, that this model has to be understood by the social workers, and they have to utilize it. The people are not considered to be the separate entities, but rather as a system that actively reciprocate energy through the boundary with other existing systems. Like the family and community, the person is helped to adjust better to the environment. The social worker sees to it that the person's needs are met by the environment. It means the person's help to adjust better to the environment. Adjustment is a very, very important factor in the social work. So sometimes when we are not adjust with the situation, we get into the problem. So therefore, through the help of the social worker, one could able to adjust in the in his or her environment, family environment, say it is pure groups environment, mean friends environment, or it may be the other environments, that means societal environments. Wherever he goes, he must adjust himself. Sometimes we are not able to cope with the situation. Cope with the situation means adjust with the situation. Deficiency, during the deficiency, one has to be adjusted. If one is not adjusted, if one is not coping with the situation, he or she will be getting the problem. So now I think you must have clear about this particular topic. Now we will be discussing the central themes in social work practicum. What are the central themes of social work practicum? Carefully try to understand. Building relationship with field instructor, staff, and the clients. Building relationship with whom? One is instructor, staff, and the client. Field instructor is your fieldwork supervisor. Fieldwork supervisor are both. One is agency fieldwork supervisor, another one is the IGNO fieldwork supervisor. That means the approval IGNO fieldwork supervisor. Okay. So here, what you have to make the relationship, you have to make the relationship with your instructor, staff, and the clients. Staff means the organizational staff. Where you have placed, from that organization, you have to have the cordial relationship with those people. Good relation, you have to build up a good relationship with your instructor, with your with your organizational staff member, as well as the clients. Client, where you are working, in which community you are working, the community people is your clients. Maybe suppose you are working in a CCI center, child care institution. Suppose you are working in a drug de-addiction center. Drug de-addiction centers, the patients or the clients, the people, those who are living in the drug de-addiction center, the children, those who are living in the CCI, child care institutions, these people are the client of yours. So you must have a good relationship with them. Another thing is finding and accepting one's role and position in the agency. You have to find out your role and your position, right? You have to find out your role, your position. What is your role? You are placed as a social worker. You are not placed as a employee. Rather, you are placed as a social worker. So learning is your focus. By doing some kind of welfare activities, you have to learn some good things, good um, uh, things which help you for your professional growth. Therefore, uh, you have to act, or you have to roll. You have to be very proactive for acting the role in the organization differently in different situation. Your role performance will be not only one aspect. You may be acting there in their different role in different situation. Understand? Another one is your position. You need also, you have to find out from yourself that what is your position. Your position, as I was saying to you, your position is a learner. Your position is a social worker. Your position is a social work engineer. Your position is a voluntary social worker. So there you have to be always very um, cordially or effectively, sincerely, you have to address your activities. Yeah. Then identifying and getting to know the agency and social work program staff that will help answer questions, deal with problem and crisis situation. Identifying and getting to know the agencies and social work programs. Okay, staffs. Whatever programs are ongoing programs are there in that organization, that you have to identify yourself, and then deal with problems and crisis situations. Whatever problems comes to you, that you have to cunningly deal, means you have to adjust with that situation. Okay, so and you have to face some of the crisis situation. Hmm. Suppose in an organization, uh, nobody is liking to you. This is a crisis situation for you. Suppose there are three staffs over there, and two staffs left that organization, and you are assigned to do some administrative activity. That is also crisis situation. So, suppose you are a lady, and that organization working up to 7 or 8 o'clock, and they compels to you to stay in that organization up to 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. That also a kind of crisis situation for you. So that crisis situation you have to overcome, and you have to analyze the situation and try to solve this problem. Chalk out a plan of action and managing time to avoid stress and overload. Identifying personal learning styles and roles to take on. Deciding how much personal information should be shared with field staff. Deciding how much personal information should be shared with field staff. This is very important, my dear friends. In casework method, there is a principle, that is principle of confidentiality. There is a principle of confidentiality. It means there are some the principle says that in some point of time you have to maintain the confidentiality. You should not be very open with the staff member. Whatever your weakness, that they should not know your weakness, right? So you have to hide your weakness, and you have to show yourself that you have uh, the positive strength, and you are doing anything. Whatever your family problem, whatever your personal problem, should not disclose with those people. If you are disclosing, then you are losing your personality. Therefore, you need not to disclose all these things. That is why it says that the information should be shared with field staff. Deciding how much personal information, you have to decide that how much personal information you will disclose with your whom, with your staff member, where you are placed. Understand? So that you have to understand. Okay. So safety issues in the field, and then supervision, organization of the agency, organization of the agency. Hmm. There are some things. If I will go in details, then time will not permit to me to cover all these points. So you have to see your safety measures also, as I was saying to you. So say it is a boy or girl, whatever may be, you have to see your safety measures, that how much, how you are um, safely you are doing your work, and how your supervisor helping to you. You seek your help from him, as well as you can also seek the help from your agency supervisor and try to solve your problem. Organization of the agency expectation differ from organization to another. Hmm. There are two both side of expectation in the field practicum, during your field practicum. When you are placed in any organization, there are some expectation from the organization from you, and from your side there are some expectation from the organization itself. So you have to compromise. Whatever expectation you have, if you are not able to get it properly, then also you have to adjust it, because you are not a regular student, or you have no sufficient time. So you have to adjust. If it is it is beyond your adjustment, then you can leave that organization and you can ask to your fieldwork supervisor, or in the study center, wherever you are feeling comfortable. From there you get the permission and change your agency. But yeah, you must be careful about your expectation, about their expectation as well. There are some organizations, they are also high expectation from you, right? Even though you are volunteering there, but still they have some expectation. So that expectation you have to meet optimum level. If you are not able to meet it, then you can say them sorry. If you are hiding them, if you are deceiving them, if you are cheating them, then it is a guilty part of our ignore. So therefore, you have to be very sincere to your activities as well, right? So now I will tell some of the following are some model. Besides this, these two model I was saying to you, there are some other models also there. Yeah. It is in the group work model. There are some group work model. Following are the model of group work, and the role of the social group worker. As I was saying to you, there are some general models we discussed in field practicum. That is one is ecological model, and another one is, I think, medical model. Okay. So now, other than this model, in group work there are some models. Social goal model, reciprocal model, and remedial goal model. The social goal model is based on problem focused interest and goals. They could include safety groups, parent teacher association, community development groups, etc., where the which we are saying the social goals model. And reciprocal model means give and take relationship model. It is a reciprocal model. So self-help, mutual aid, in which members share experiences, support, ideas, solutions, or their time. This is what called the reciprocal model, a reciprocal goal model. Another one is remedial goals model. It's based on the principle that group interaction brings about change. Psychotherapy, marital therapy, trauma survivors, and child abuse perpetrators group are some example of this group. Okay, so remedial groups is a such group where you can give some remedy instantly. Understand? So suppose I'm suffering by pain, and somebody give me a medicine, and I immediately get relief out of my pain. This is a remedy. Okay, so there are different types of therapy which we are using here. That is psychotherapy, marital therapy, and trauma survivors and child abuse perpetrators group are some examples. Means where where and when it is required, as per the requirement, you have to give some remedial therapy. Remedial measures you need to provide, so that the group will be fitting group will be get rid out of their problem, means overcome out of their problem. Okay. So practicum in community, micro social work practicum in the in the community, as I was discussing you, that in the organization, you may be doing some practical activities in the community level, and you may be facing some um, issues, legal issues from the community itself also, that you have to accordingly handle. Now, we will be discussing some of the competences required for social work practicum. Friends, this part is very, very important. Once again, I tell you, you have to be very careful to your competencies. Competencies means your strength, your ability, that you have to bear some competencies while you are dealing with the client's problem, while you are dealing with the group problem, while dealing with the community problem, as well as while you are working in the agency also. So you must have some competencies. What are those competencies that we will discuss now? The direct social workers need some basic competencies. The direct social workers need some basic competencies. What are the basic competencies? Number one is um, use of self, that is sensitive of one's limitation and capabilities. Use of self, that is sensitive of one's limitation and capabilities. Okay. The social worker needs to be aware of personal strength and weaknesses and be able to use all the skills, values, knowledge in helping the client. I have already discussed with you that the social worker must have the some skills. The social workers must have knowledge on values of social work, uh, knowledge in helping the client. Mm. So we help the people to help themselves. We sometimes we help those clients indirectly, and sometimes we also help them indirectly. So this is very important that one should know as a learner. Okay. And beside this, giving and receiving help. Okay, giving and receiving help. So we are not going to help materially. That means materialistic. We are not materialistic. We are not going to help by providing some assets. Rather, basically, we are providing them some information, giving some counseling pertaining to how to mobilize the resources of their doorstep. Whatever resources are available with them, and those resources they have to use for their problem solving. We are not exploring from outside. First, you have to see the resources which is available within their setup. That resources one has to be explored, and then he will think of the um, utilizing other resources. And sensitive approach, code of ethics, I was saying to you, understand the behavior of individual and families. Hmm. So these many things one has to uh, has some knowledge on these particular things. If you are not competent to deal with the family problem, behavioral aspect, if you are not competent on some of the code of ethics, you cannot able to solve the problem of the client or group or the community. So some ethics need to be understood. The social worker needs to be aware of the requirement for ethical practice. It is the public trust that grants professional sanction. To earn this trust, the social worker must adhere to ethical practice of social work. The worker provides the best possible service and tries not to control damage. Our aim and objective is to help to others, not to damage uh, some things. We have to provide some support to the needy people so that they can able to, um, I mean, solve their problem. Okay. Then I was saying to you some of the things of ethical and legal issues in um, social work practicum that also somehow I have already discussed during this one. Unit 2, we will be discussing some history of social work practicum, development of fieldwork education. Okay, so I'm not going to talk you in detail that the social work has come from the Western countries and social work as well as social practicum. Initially, the philanthropists, the rich men, and the religious priests, they were helping to the people without having any interest. Means, keeping in view of God's blessing, they were giving some sort of assistance to the needy peoples. Uh, you must have known, so in India also, in some temple, there are some beggars are begging, and when the people are going to people are visiting to the temple, by that time they are giving some alms to the needy people. Why they are giving? Because they know that if you are giving to some support to these beggars, then definitely God will bless to them. So likewise, in earlier days also, uh, the the uh, missionaries of missionaries of Christianity, they were providing some sort of support to the needy people, and gradually it became as a professional activity. And in the year 1936, it came to India, in Mumbai, TISA, Tata Institute of Social Work and Social Science, and then come to the Delhi University of Social Work. And after that, it's saturated throughout the country, right? So, social work, after the social education, simultaneously the fieldwork practicum also entered. And, since then, it is practiced in our country, and we all are involved in that particular process that Okay. So, these are some of the things that we have to understand, that uh, this is some of the brief history of the social work practicum. Volunteering and social work as an occupation. Okay, I have already said to you, social work is not a voluntary service. It is a professional service. Of course, it is a voluntary service, but it is a professional service. That is why we cannot par with a general volunteer. We cannot compare with a general volunteer, because we are dealing with we deal the problem with technically. We deal the problem with professionally. We deal the problem scientifically. That is why we are separate from those people. That is why we are separate from those people. And uh, and we, after theoretical knowledge, after practical knowledge, we are getting into the agency for job purpose and some other purposes. Okay, so it can be seen from the it when family and mutual aid become inadequate, volunteers help the poor and the infirm. At the time of practicum for social workers was learning at the agency, there was no organized learning in schools. All the training was on the job, and volunteers learn purely from practice and from the experience of their supervisors and predecessors. Social agencies sprang up in response to the needs to relate warmly to people who ask for them. Okay, so what it is written that volunteer the when the social workers visited to different agencies and different communities, they experienced the problem of the community, and they tried a lot to solve the problem with their capacity, and they also helped them to the needy people, onto the needy peoples, to overcome out of their problem. Social workers were working in other areas like mental health, correctional institutions, schools and labor industry. This paved the way for social work practicum is specialized areas. It means uh, when the social workers work in different fields, as I was saying to you, mental health field, correctional institutions means in jail. Hmm. There are some juvenile delinquents are kept in the jail, and the adults also kept in the jail. So there are some welfare programs are going on in the jail. So whatever correctional works we are doing in the jail, that is correctional social work. Okay, and the jail is the one of the correctional institution, and drug de-addiction centers also correctional institutions. Hmm. There are some correctional institutions where the social workers were placed and to gain some knowledge. Okay. Now I will tell you emergence of social work as a profession in the US. Hmm. We were discussing about this profession have a large individual responsibility. Professions are mainly intellectual operations in USA. Professions draw their base from science and learning. Professions work the base up to practical and clear cut end. Professional possesses an educationally communicable techniques. Professions generally organize themselves. Professions became increasingly holistic in motivation. Now we will come to the another chapter, that is uh, interdisciplinary practice and education. As I was saying to you that this subject is an interdisciplinary subject. It is related to other anthropology, set is sociology, and some other subjects which is related to the social work. We have to some knowledge on that those subjects also. In India, the interdisciplinary approach is seen working best at a medical or psychiatric facility. A hospital has a team of professionals who go on needs discussing the problems, treatment, and prognosis of patients. The social worker role is well defined, whether it is working with the patient's family, community resources, or patient's attitude and the feelings. These things already I have discussed to you that since we are generally social workers, we can fit in the medical, we can fit in the agriculture field, we can also fit in economics field, we can also fit in the political field, we can also fit in some other fields also. That is why it is an interdisciplinary practice we are saying. So you can place in a corporate sector also, where you can work as a PRO, public relation officer, to address the problem of those the areas where those corporate sector is working. So this is very important aspect of this particular um, course. That is why we are saying interdisciplinary practice. So sometimes my students are asking me in some point of time that, sir, which organization is good for us? I said, whatever organizations are there, this basically we have to place in a philanthropic organization, where charity organization, welfare organization. But other than this also, there are some organizations who, if there is a profit making organization, some portion of the profit they also spend for the welfare. So when they are spending the welfare, there also we can work, and we can know some important things from that particular organization. So it is a interdisciplinary practice, right? And we have to gain some knowledge out of those the things, the organizations. where we are working. Suppose you are working in a hospital. That is why I said no. There is a psychiatric social work MPhil course is there. Hmm. So after passing out of MSW, you can have some psychological course, psychiatric social work, to become a psychiatric social work. After or in between the social work, you can have some knowledge on the disaster management. For example, Odisha is one of the disaster prone state where you have to opt some disaster knowledge, disaster mitigation knowledge, and thereby you can able to placed in a disaster mitigation organization. Okay, and then now we'll come to unit 3, social work practicum, global and national scenario. Okay, so dear friends, um, field education that is sufficient in duration, global standard for field education and training. Okay, field education that is sufficient in duration and complexity of tasks and learning opportunities to ensure that students are prepared for professional practice. Okay, so before this chapter, I was discussing with you, a student, a learner has to plan that what he has to do during his field practicum, what he wants to do, which area he is very much interested. There are different areas of social work. So which area he is interested, that area he have to place, and he have to plan out, and what are the opportunities for him that he have to find out. Planned plan coordination and links between the school and the agency field placement settings. Provision of orientation for fieldwork supervisor or instructors. Appointment of field supervisor or instructors who are qualified and experienced as determined by the development status of the social work profession in any given country, and provision of orientation for fieldwork supervisor or instructors. It means the global standard for fieldwork education and training. Some of the global standard is maintained, which here it is discussed. That is, in order to become a fieldwork supervisor, one has to qualified MSW. One has to go through the fieldwork supervision. One has to know the what is fieldwork supervisor, what are the parameters, what are the principle, how the fieldwork can be controlled. That one need to understand. I tell you that there are some components of field practicum. What are the component? I was saying to you, ki, maybe the orientation visit, concurrent field work, and another one is internship, block placement, workshop, seminars. These are some of the different components of field work. And beside this also, the learner as well as the fieldwork supervisor. Without the fieldwork supervisor also, there is no value of the concurrent fieldwork or field practicum. Therefore, the field workers, the fieldwork supervisor or the instructors need to imparted the training that how they will supervise to their learners. If a person does not know how to supervise the trainees or learners, he cannot supervise effectively. The person who have the knowledge on fieldwork, who have the knowledge on theory, not only fieldwork, theory, he can only supervise effectively. Therefore, there is a code of conduct, there is a principle that in IGNO, those who have qualified, MSW qualified, they are only placed for fieldwork supervisor because they know the theory. Without the theory, there is no fieldwork. So theory has to materialize, theory has to applied in the practical. So therefore, the supervisor need to be oriented properly. Then only he can supervise properly. A partnership between the educational institutions and the agency where applicable and supervise users in decision making regarding field education and the evaluation of students' fieldwork performance. So sometimes we can also have some partnership with some educational institutions where we can get the knowledge for the effective supervision, and we can also the part of that organization, sometimes in the part of the organization also, where we can work effectively. Okay, making available to fieldwork instructors or supervisors a field instruction manual that details its fieldwork standards, procedures, assessment standards, criteria, and expectations. So here it is. It clarifies that the making available to fieldwork instructors or supervisors. It is the duty of the our ODL, the Open Learning Distance system from the IGNO. They will provide you the field instructor who will guide you properly. Okay, so and by that you can able to know the details of the field work, and they can also maintain the standard fieldwork standard, procedure, and assessment of standard, criteria, and expectation. Whatever expectation from your side and whatever expectation from the agency side, that will be bridged up by the fieldwork supervisor. If any gap, that is why where when you are doing any kind of fieldwork activities, sometimes you are meeting with the directly meeting with your fieldwork supervisor, which we are saying that is individual conference, Vyaktigata Sammilani, which we are saying. So through that, you are asking some question and your supervisor is answering to you. Any problem when you are facing, you are interacting with your fieldwork supervisor, and he is trying to solve your problem adequately. So this is the real procedure. Time to time, you have to meet with your fieldwork supervisor. This is the real procedure of doing field practicum. Okay. Field education in a developing country. Field education in a developing country. Okay. Developing country written in 1999, Rembale writing on her field education experience in the Eastern Caribbean noted the difference between the working in some developing countries where network of social work agencies and trained supervisors are in place, and in other developing countries where field settings were still being established. Okay, so here he is saying that in some developing countries like India, difference between working in some developing countries where a network of social work agencies and trained supervisors are in place. The trained social workers are placed for supervising to the uh, learners or the trainees. And in other developing countries where field settings were still being established, field setting also we are trying to establish proper field setting, thereby the students can gain more knowledge. If the students are not getting more knowledge, then it is valueless that placing in that particular field. Okay. The integrated, balanced, and unified development of society and the capacity of the social system to generate broad and favorable changes in level of living. Planned social change and economic development to promote the well-being of all-round development. Planned social change and economic development to promote the well-being of the people. Principle shared with social work such as collaboration, cooperation, and social justice. These principles we need to apply, and after all, we will try to plan to the change of that particular group of people, change of the particular society, so that they can develop. And basically, um, we have to focus on economical development as well, because in development, very important factor of the development is economical development, social development, cultural development, technological development, political development. These are some of the core areas of development. A social worker need to also get the education on the particular things, so that the nation will develop. Like in India, India is a developing country. So how it will develop? How it will meet the need of the people? Through focusing on these particular things. And uh, the students and the teachers also need to have the knowledge on these particular things, so that they can grow effectively. Okay. Problems in conceptualizing field training. A shortage of qualified field instructors. Sometimes we do not get a good number of instructors or fieldwork supervisors who are trained. This is one of the problem. Another problem is a shortage of appropriate field settings. Shortage of appropriate field setting. Sometimes my students, they ask to me, I have a lot of experience with the fieldwork guidance, that they say, sir, we are not getting good agencies. Where we will go? This is also one of the problem. Suppose there are less number of agencies, and those agencies are not cooperating to our learners. If they are not cooperating, then how they will get, how they will place in that organization, and how they can accomplish their field practicum. Unless they are not going to that organization, we cannot entertain to them. This is mandatory. So sometimes what happen, the field settings also, lack of field settings means, fields means agency, fields means community. These are some of the problem we face in some point of time. Questions regarding the role of the field liaison. Hmm. Field liaison. That means coordination part is also sometimes lacking from the um, mm, I mean the study center, from the supervisor, and from the agency itself. Coordination. Liaisoning means coordination. Huh? So we have to coordinate effectively. We have to follow the principle of the proper procedure through which a student, a learner can get into the agency and successfully completed his field practicum and submit to the field supervisor. After the comments or assessment by the field supervisor will submit, or the student will submit to the IGNO, and the IGNO again it will evaluate, and then the result will means declared. Okay, so these many things also sometimes um, problem stands before the learner, which we have to confront it properly, means face it properly. Then how to help students integrate field and practice. This is very, very important. The students and uh, field and practice. That means students means the learners. The students, how they will integrate. That means how they will adjust, how they will, work together in the agency as well as in the community setting. So these things we need to help them properly. If they are not able to cope up with the agency, if they are not able to cope up with the community, then also the problem will be arises. So therefore, the teacher, the supervisor has to look after these particular things. That The student need not to face any problem. The learner need not to be face any problem. And on the other hand, the students need to also seek the help time to time from the fieldwork supervisor so that he can integrate field and practice. Understand? Practice means practically involved doing some activities. Where you are placed, in which agency you are placed, that agency might have placed you in some agency community or some activities that where you are practicing your knowledge, where you are experiencing yourself. That is very important. So these many things sometimes problem. These are some problem. We need to understand those problem. Problem need to be addressed properly by the help of um, the supervisor as well as by the help of the learner. Right? Problem faced by students social work in India. Um, there is a serious lack of literature that is of Indian or foreign origin available to the students and professionals in India, even though most of the knowledge of social work in India is borrowed from the West. It is difficult to directly apply the theory that is based on a different culture to India. Some of the history of social work is comparable to that of the beginnings of social work in India. Social work in India had its beginnings in voluntary helping to the underprivileged. There are major differences when one considers the family structure, religious beliefs, legal emphasis, status of women, and uh, prevailing value system. There is a their need to develop indigenous social work literature. Friends, problems faced by student social work in India, it is said that some of the literature is developed, many of the literature developed from Western countries. As I was saying to you, the foreign authors are written many books which is sometimes stands as some problem. It creates some problem to understand by our Indian students, and for which sometimes they are not effectively address the problem. So therefore, this is some of the problem visible in India. Many social workers who were qualified are attracted to Western universities and job in the West for many regions. It is very difficult to social worker to be proud of their profession when it is generally believed that they probably indeed up to a social work profession because they could not go into engineering, medicine, law, or business. Anyway, so sometimes we are lacking to get a adequate professional who will guide us properly. And I can repeat the previous things that in India, when someone is working, he has to work with some different family structure, religious beliefs, legal emphasis, status of women, and prevailing value system. That means India is a diversified country where, in terms of caste, in terms of religion, in terms of occupation, in terms of territory or area, different type of people are there. Working with the diverse group of people is very difficult. So you can work in any similar group of people, but working with a stratified group of people is very difficult. So these are some of the problem. The religion is some people's religion is very differ to other people. Their belief also different. Their status of women is also different. Prevailing value system is also different. So based on this, we have to work. So these are some of the problem which is perpetuating, which is prevailing in India, that we need to look after properly. Problem faced by the social workers. In India, the interdisciplinary approaches is seen working best at a medical or psychiatry facility. The social worker's role is well defined, whether it is working with the patients, family, community, resources, or patients' attitudes and feelings. Okay, so sometimes what happen, the students are not feeling comfortable to work in different settings. So then they are not able to adjust themselves. They are not able to cope up with themselves. So that is why it became a problem for them. So we have to work out all these things, and we we have to try to solve this problem. There are different areas of working, no, and therefore one has to feel the comfortable to work with those culture, work with those among those people. Low status of women, problems of girl children, and attitude of men towards women play a vital roles. Anyway, these are some areas where a social worker's role is very difficult. He has to role play differently in different situations, and which is very very significant for them. Now we will come to the chapter 4. Okay, social practicum in open and distance learning. Now friends, uh, whoever sitting now or whoever participating as a learner in this class, we are all a student from IGNO. Student from IGNO. IGNO means Indira Gandhi National Open University. Right. So, social work practicum in open and distance learning. The IGNO is providing open and distance learning courses in different subjects. So we have enrolled our name. We have joined in MSW course. We have joined in BA Bachelor in Social Work course in a open and distance learning mood. So in social work practicum, a the open and distance learner also, in this system also, the practical is compulsory. If one is not doing practical, then he cannot able to complete his course. So this course is I mean the very important thing is that one has to go through the field practicum, doing the field practicum. If one in a distance open and distance learning system, it compels, it emphasizing the uh, I mean the emphasizing the field practicum. To do the field practicum, one has to one has to go, or one has to do this field practicum. Unless he's not doing, he cannot able to complete, because field practical is very very essential part. Initially I was talking to you, say it is a regular mode or it is a distance mode, whoever may be, whatever be the students, but they have to do this activities. If they are not doing, then they cannot visualize, they cannot experience, they cannot understand the reality of the social work. Like you might be knowing, the science students use the laboratory. They experiment the some of the things and come into the conclusion. Likewise, our experimental field is community. Our experimental field is the I mean the agency. where we are experiencing, where we are getting the knowledge, theory, practical knowledge, whatever imparted in the classroom, that we are materializing the field. So while you are materializing the field, by that we are getting the knowledge, practical knowledge, and that is very much important for all of us. There has been a acknowledgement of the need of a larger number of trained professionals to operate social care and social development programs at different level of intervention. There has been a growing criticism of the elitist and urban slant in social work education. Practitioners in the field, especially in India, claim that the aspiration of students with master's degree do not match the realities of social work practice at the grassroots level, where they are needed the most. Also, postgraduate qualified professionals find it hard to bridge the socio-cultural gap between themselves and the people in rural, tribal, remote areas. Now, will field practicum conventional and distance education system. Just before um, 2 3 minutes ago, I was saying to you that there are the conventional mode of social work and there is a distance education system. Hmm. So, uh, even at the risk of repetition, I will reiterate that you can learn social work only by doing. It is widely acknowledged among social work educators that field work is an integral and necessary component of social work education. We have already discussed this part. It is a repeated part that say it is a conventional or it is a distance education. Wherever you go, you have to do the fieldwork activities. Why? It is an integral part of the social work. We cannot avoid, we cannot exclude, we cannot left out these particular things. And those who are not involved themselves in this process, they cannot able to understand the reality of social work, the real things of social work. So therefore, this is very, very important. Okay. The component of learning by doing. How you will learn? By doing. How you will how you will do the work? Through field work practicum. Therefore, learning is doing is very, very important aspect of the field practicum. Also, in the distance education system, we cannot separate it from the distance education system. It is, I must thank to IGNO that IGNO has already provide a very good opportunity to all the students. That is a mandatory. Even though you are a distance mode students, you have a weightage if you are going through these particular things. In social work, education is various designated as field work, field based learning, field instruction, or field practitioners. Practicum. The uniform uh, content, all of in field based on placement of students, planned assignment to be undertaken by them at the placements, recording of the work, reflection and evaluation of experience in the field, and utilizing supervisory guidance to achieve specific sequential learning. To make it a professional learning, this practical work is grounded in classroom course content theory and is done within the ambit of overreaching ethical code. Dear friends, it is the in the distance education system also gives an opportunity to the students to do the fieldwork activities with a planned system. What is planned system? They are going, they are visiting to the different organization, 5 orientation visit they are doing, 45 days concurrent fieldworks they are doing, and experienced by the students. There is a column that you are writing. Whatever knowledge you have gained, that you are expressing yourself. Again, the fieldwork supervisor is giving you the comment, global comment. He is giving that what is your shortfall, how you will grow yourself. That he is time to time supervising, that he is time to time giving you the comments, and that will help you to develop your skill, develop your knowledge. My dear students, this is very, very important. And when you are going to fieldwork, after visiting the fieldwork, at the end of the day, you are writing the report given in the given pro forma in the fieldwork journal. It is not mandatory that only you have to follow the pro forma, but in addition to that pro forma, you can add some good points also, which will appreciate by your fieldwork supervisor, and which will be very important for you all. That is very, very important. Okay. And then achieving minimum standard of performance of fieldwork is essential for successful completion of the course of social work. Achieving minimum standard of performance. Minimum standard of performance is very, very important for all the social work students. Minimum standard means you have to go, you have to visit, you have to do the field practicum, you have to submit your report. The report may be up to the mark. Sometimes we are lacking in, sometimes we are not strong in English language. When we are presenting our report, when we are writing our report, by that time we may not be able to present it properly. But we will try our best to scaling up our knowledge, to develop our knowledge, presentation skills, report writing skills. We have to what? We have to scale, we have to develop our skill, develop our knowledge. That how we are presenting the report. Basically, as I am saying to you, that it is the pro forma, it is a structure, the instruction is already given. So if you are following that instruction, at least we can write something. It may be completely right, but somehow it will write, and thereby you can enhance your knowledge. In pursuit of social work degree, students are required to undertake various and challenging practice of placement. In this placement, the students are required to draw on theoretical knowledge from their formal courses in order to place their field experience in a broad context and to develop practical skills. Learning by doing has been the hallmark of social work education, and the thrust of social work practicum is to learn how to apply theoretical social work material to hands-on situation, how to cope up with the practical limitations of real life environment, and how to be useful to real people with a real problem in a real setting that is less than ideal. Dear friends, this is very important that learning by doing has been the hallmark of social work education. How we will learn through doing some kind of activities on behalf of any welfare organization or agency. So thereby you can able to know much more information, and that information will help to you, and again you can able to do the course properly, Hmm. And whatever you have learned in the classroom, that you will apply in your field. That is very much important. So before going to the field, before getting to the field, you must have knowledge on the theory. This is very important. If you have knowledge, there is nothing any problem. If you do not have knowledge, you will face the problem. So therefore, knowledge is very important. So if you if you have good knowledge, then definitely you can able to success in your life, and you can able to um, I mean uh, successfully complete your field practicum. The potential student entering to the conventional system of social work education is one who has pursuing his or her educational career continuously without major breaks. That is, those joining bachelor bachelor's course after senior secondary certificate or its equivalent. Okay. Now, one of the main difference between distance education students and campus student is that many distance education students are part-time students and thus tend to take their courses over a greater number of years than students in full-time conventional system. Secondly, the potential students availing of the distance learning system presents mixed lot. The students enrolled for social work course under the distance learning system present understandably a wide variety of level of education and work experience. They belong to different region, speak different languages, and come from diverse socio-cultural backgrounds. Friends, just before I was saying to you that in what is the difference between the distance and conventional um, educational system? In distance mode, the students, many of the students, they are engaged in different type of jobs, different type of employment, and they are pursuing the MSW course. But in conventional, there are some regular students who are regularly attending the class, who are regularly attending the fieldwork activities in every weekend. If I will say from my college, my students are placed in a slum directly, and some students are placed in different agencies. They are going for field practicum every week, Friday and Saturday, and they are submitting the report on Monday weekend. So likewise in regularly, because they are regular students, but in the distance level students also, they're supposed to do this work. Since they are distance mode of students, that is why sometimes there may be a communication gap. Sometimes they are not appearing physically regularly in the community agency, but we will try our best to do that one. So, but there is nothing any difference between the regular and distance. The thing is that the distance students are employed somewhere, and beside their engagement, they are pursuing this course. And the regular students are fully engaged, means residential. That is why they are attending regularly in field practicum activities. And they are, whatever they are doing, our students are also doing. So there is nothing, any problem on this. Okay. But the students full times, they immediately seeks the assistance of the teacher, field supervisor. They are also seeking the assistance of the field supervisor from the distance courses also. But how they are assisting, they are seeking, that is very important. And the students from in distance as well as regular also. In India, if you will say, they belong to different settings, religion, speak different languages, and diverse socio-cultural background. So, working with this diverse socio-cultural background is very difficult part. As I just a few minutes ago, I was discussing with you this part, and working with different religious people, working with different linguistic people. In there are different type of languages. If I take the example of Odisha, suppose you are working in a tribal area, 62 tribal groups are there in Odisha. 62 tribal groups. So all tribal groups having their own colloquial language, local languages, right? So primitive tribal and non-primitive tribal, PPTG, non-PPTG, we are saying. So where suppose you are working among those people, then you have to learn their language somehow. Some important things you have to learn if you are working with the multicultural peoples. If you are working with a diverse socio-cultural background peoples, you have to understand their socio-cultural aspects. If you are understanding the socio-cultural aspect, if you are understanding somehow their language, then you can access yourself, or you can get the help from this community people, and through which you can able to work out effectively your field practicum. This is very important. Okay, field practicum in social work, education in the distance mode. Already I have already talked to you. Initially, you have to select some of the agencies, and out of your interest, you will be placed in there, and you have to do the field practicum activities. MSW 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 4 field practicum that you have to accomplish within 2 years. Some students, they take time, distance mode students, because they are not regular. That is why they face some problem. That is why they take some more time in order to complete the course. Sometimes they take 3 years, sometimes they take 4 years, likewise. So this is what the situation is going on among the distance learning education learners. We have to see, we have to acknowledge this problem. But in order to avoid this one, effectively we have to do the activities. Unless we are not doing, then things will not able to complete. Okay. Strategies of fieldwork instruction. A, a repertoire of knowledge and skills in analysis and assessment. A confidence to apply knowledge to practice. These are some of the strategies for field instructions. And I have already said you the structure of field practicum in MSW course. We have already discussed that one. Field placement, agencies, client relationship, orientation visit. First one is orientation visit, field placement, agency client relationship, uh, assignment of tasks, nature of social work process, teamwork, administrative assignments, recording, field instructions. These are some of the structure of field practicum in MSW course. This structure need to be followed, which I was saying as a component of social social field work, or component of concurrent field work. These need to be followed. This need to be adhered. This need to be materialized. Before doing the field work, you have to go for orientation visit, 5 orientation visit, field placement through the agency client relationship. You have to make a rapport. We have to make a relationship building with the agency, and assignment of tasks. Whatever tasks will be given by the organization, that you have to do. Then nature of social work process, how you are applying that one, how you are doing, what kind of activities you are assigned, that you have to know. Then whether you are alone doing that work or you are in the team, that you have to do. Then if there is any administrative assignments, then you have to do that one. If there is no any administrative assignment, then you cannot, you can't, you should not do that one. Then recording, whatever you are doing, that you have to record, you have to maintain the record. And then field instruction. The field instruction will be given by your field supervisor. The field instruction will be given by your agency supervisor. According to the instruction, you have to do the activities. Okay. Field work through ODL, the effectiveness. These are the things I have already spoke to you. If you have any questions, you please ask to me. We are about to complete our class. Now it is going to be 6 o'clock after 5 minutes. So if you have any doubts or any interaction you want to talk with me, you can talk to me. Hello? Hello?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Anything doubts?
सर सर आप उड़िया समझ सकते हैं?
Yes, yes. I am
Yes.
Odia person only. You can speak in
हाँ,
Odia, but I will answer
नहीं
you in English.
ମୋର ଡାଉଟ୍ ଥିଲା କି ସାର୍ ଇଗ୍ନୁ ଏମିତି କିଛି ଗୋଟେ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନ କରିଛି କି ଯୋଉଠି ଆମେ ଯାଇକି କରିପାରିବୁ ସୋସିଆଲ ୱାର୍କ ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିସ?
No, no. IGNO has no any such kind of organization. IGNO itself is a distance mode
Mode.
education is providing,
Learning
right?
system. Yes.
So therefore,
Yes, sir.
IGNO will not provide you. You have to find out. Understand? With the help of your
Yes, sir. Yes,
supervisor,
sir.
with the
Yes, sir.
help of your seniors, and with the help of your community people, educated persons, you will go and work there. Are you saying? Are you asking me for job placement or for field work activities?
For field work practice.
Okay, for field work practice, madam, no need to
Sir,
worry. IGNO will not provide you.
sir,
IGNO,
ସିନିୟର ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣରଙ୍କର କିଛି ଫୋନ ନମ୍ବର ଅଛି କି ସେମାନେ କୋଉଠି କରିଥିଲେ ଆମକୁ ଟିକେ ଗାଇଡ କରିଥାନ୍ତେ ସାର୍?
see, you can take my number and you can directly contact to me so that I will guide to you.
Yes,
No
yes,
need to
yes, sir.
you no need to
Yes,
talk
sir.
your seniors. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
there are some approved counselors are there in any every study center and regional center also. You can talk to them. They can guide to you everywhere. Thousands of organizations are there, madam. Government and non-government organizations. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
there are plenty of opportunity. You are thinking that only the non-government organization can only provide the agency placement. No, the government organizations also can provide the, for example, medical. Understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Medical is
sir.
a
Yes,
government
sir.
organization. Non-government
Yes, sir.
medical also there, government also there. You can go for
Private.
your practical. May say it is private, say it is
For
government. Nothing any problem.
Sir, sir,
सर ସେମାନେ
Anganwadi
ଆମକୁ
is
ନେବେ କି ଇଗ୍ନୁ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ କୁ ପ୍ରାଇଭେଟ
Why?
ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନ?
Who said no? Who said no? They will take you. Provided you have to get a, I mean the um, letter from the regional center or else from the, I mean the study center. Or if it is not possible, then at the worst case, you can take the letter from your supervisor also. Right?
Yes, sir.
So you have to follow the procedure, madam. If you are not following procedure, nobody will entertain to you. ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ
Yes,
କିଏ
sir.
ନେବେ ନାହିଁ. You
ଫାଷ୍ଟ
must have to
ଲେଟର ଇସ୍ୟୁ
follow.
କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ଆମର ସେଣ୍ଟର
Yes, you have to.
ହେଡ୍.
You have to issue a letter. You suppose you have to. Suppose you are interested to do a field work. You write a letter to your IGNO coordinator, and the coordinator will write to the concerned organization that this number of students are willing or this learner is willing to visit your organization. So kindly permit me. Hello, mute
Yes,
karantu.
sir. Yes, sir.
Try to mute yourself. Those who wants to talk with me, they only unmute yourself and talk to me. Other kindly mute yourself. So what I mean to say, when you want to go for field placement in any organization, prior to that you write an application to your coordinator, huh?
Yes,
And
sir.
you can also mention to your fieldwork supervisor name that under this fieldwork supervisor, I want to do my concurrent fieldwork of MSW L013 or 14, blah blah
Yes, sir.
blah. Okay,
13, 14
mentioning
is
the
for first year,
organization.
no, sir? 13, 14 is
Yes,
only for first year? Yes, sir.
first year, yeah. And 15, 16 is for second year.
Yes,
So
sir.
when you try to write application to them, they will issue a letter from their organization, I mean from the IGNO itself, in a letterhead or letter pad.
Yes, sir.
That letter, taking that letter, you will go and submit to the concerned organization.
Yes, sir.
Automatically, they will provide you a avenue or chance to do your fieldwork activities. I
Yes, sir.
have sent letter for a lot of number. Um, uh, Hundreds of students already passed out from IGNO. I have experienced that no one has denied. No one has denied.
Yes. Yes, sir.
And you can also
Sir,
set
your
your
number.
weakness also.
Sir, your number, please. Sir, your phone number, please.
My number is 94385 00289. 943
Nine. Yes. 85
94385 00289. This is my number.
289. 94385 sir.
Yes, this is WhatsApp
Yes.
number.
Thank you.
And another
Yes,
number
sir.
is 8249
8 824 2 9 48 46.
8249484628. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
My name is Raghunath Mondal. Okay, I am staying in Bhubaneswar. So any doubts, you can have a contact with me after the class also. There is no any problem. And I hope the more number of students will join in tomorrow class also. We have another
Sir,
three
please,
classes already
how
left.
3D contact number dakantu.
94385 94385 00289. 94385
ସେ ଆଉ ଜଣେ ମାଗୁଛନ୍ତି।
then 8249484628. 8249484628. Okay, this is my number. And whatever I taught to you, whether it is comfortable to you or not,
Yes, sir. Yes,
tell
sir.
me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it comfortable?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, thank
Sir,
you.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all of your feedback. And by this time again, we will assemble in tomorrow also. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, namaste. Thank you.